So, you want to invest in Pokemon? You're probably thinking, what makes a Pokemon set or product right to invest in? Well, I'll be going over 5 key tips to help you pick the right Pokemon investments. In short, honestly, there's no Pokemon set that's bad to invest in. Seriously. If you look at the historical price data for all booster boxes, none have sunk below MSRP. So it really comes down to a question of, what is the best set to invest in for great returns, and how do you determine which set that is? Let's move on and keep in mind these 5 variables when trying to decide a good set to invest in. What's the supply of the set? What's the expected or intrinsic value of the set? What is the variance in the set? What's the public and market expectations of the set? And what is your time horizon of your investment? The first variable is going to be supply. Supply and demand is a basic economic principle that describes the relationship between the availability of a product, which is a supply, and the desire or need for that product, otherwise known as the demand. In general, when supply of a product is low and the demand is high, the price of that product will increase. Conversely, when supply of the product is high and the demand is low, the price will decrease. So it's our job as investors to figure out how much of the product is out there. Now, how do you do that? Usually, the first thing to consider is if there was a high allocation of products to an LGS or local game store from distributors. Talk with your LGSs and find out how many cases of product or pallets of product that they've been allocated, and if it's a larger amount than normal. In my experience, if you're buying locally or from one LGS online, they'll be more likely to answer your questions and let you know what their allocation is. Next, you must consider reprints. Normally, this isn't a bad thing. I think historically, the Pokemon Company has done an excellent job at controlling supply. A good example is how the Pokemon Company handled the Chilling Reign reprints. The price of a box never dropped below MSRP. Also, consider the Charizard UPC. When it was first announced, pre-order prices everywhere were around $200 to $250 per box. Now, you can normally find them for retail, and I see a lot of posts on Reddit talking about them being plentiful in the wild. But if your goal is to quickly buy a product you believe will be scarce on the market and turn it around for sale, a looming reprint or heavy initial print may hinder your goals. And for the record, I don't condone scalping, however, this is a reality for Pokemon and a lot of other TCGs. The second most important variable to consider is the expected or intrinsic value of your set. So, can you answer what you believe the expected value of the box or product you're buying is? Think about what's inside of the set. Is this set going to maintain value over the long haul? Maybe it's a specialty set, and you can only get packs from Elite Trainer boxes or other small box items similar to the XY generation set. If you consider some specialty items like Elite Trainer boxes, do they come with a promo which can be sold to recoup some costs if you're looking to open packs? Maybe you can bulk sell all the sleeves, dice, and counters for a few extra dollars to recoup some of your costs as well. In general though, if you're buying a sealed booster box, you're looking at a flat expected value of $80 to $90 depending on where you buy. This is assuming that you're not opening the product, because generally, you're going to lose money if you're opening your product. The third most important key variable to consider is variance. Now, variance refers to the degree of variability in the potential value of cards that can be pulled from the booster packs of the set. In other words, a set with high variance will have a wider range of card values, while the set with low variance will have more consistent card values. A good example of a high variance modern set would be Vivid Voltage. Your only real chance at making a profit when opening the set would be pulling the secret rare Rainbow Pikachu, which would net you around $50 to $90 more than the box value. Meanwhile, the second most valuable card is the Full Art Pikachu V at around $16. So if you don't hit that Rainbow Pikachu, you're way in the negative on your investment. You're basically stuck with a pile of bulk. When you see the price value of the cards in the set, it's understandable why this isn't a desired set to open among investors or even collectors. The majority of the set can be bought for the price of a booster box. The opposite example is going to be Evolving Skies. You can buy a box for around $350, which is over double the amount of Vivid Voltage. However, there are 5 to 10 cards in the set which you can pull to make up a large percentage of the value of the box, if not more. Famously, this set contains the alt art Umbreon, which sells raw for around $600–700, and it also sells for around $1,000 in PSA 10. So it's more likely that you'll make your money back on the Evolving Sky set than Vivid Voltage. So there is less variance in expected return for Evolving Skies. It is also an important reminder that just because Pikachu is a set mascot doesn't mean that that set is going to be valuable. The fourth key variable to consider is public expectation and market expectations. Public expectation refers to the perception and anticipation of the set among the general public. That includes collectors, players, and investors. This can be influenced by a number of factors, such as the popularity of the Pokemon or supporter cards in the set, the artwork and design of the cards like alt arts or character rares or a new type of card that's released, and also the playability of the cards within the set from a TCG standpoint. The term market expectation refers to the expectations of the market participants such as retailers, distributors, and investors. This can be influenced by factors such as the perceived scarcity of the set in regards to the supply, the demand from collectors and players, and the current market prices of other sets. When public and market expectations are high for a particular set, it can increase the investability of that set by driving up demand and potentially increasing the value of the cards. This can be particularly true for sets with a high variance, as investors may be willing to take on greater risk in order to potentially profit from the higher returns. We saw this in the Violet EX box in Japan, with people chasing the only real card of value, which would pay for the box itself, and more, with the full art Miriam or the alt art Miriam inside. We also saw this from the most recent Japanese set Triple Beat, where people were chasing the Dendra full art or the alt art inside. Sometimes the card was selling for over $1,200. Now, another angle to think about public and market expectations is to consider what is everyone else thinking about the set. Is every YouTuber on the platform telling you that the new Pokemon set is the one to invest in? Are all of your friends and other collectors you know storing the same sealed set product? That may be a good indicator that in a short time period of 0 to 3 years, this set will still be hot due to demand, but what will it look like in 5 to 10 years when everyone who's invested starts to sell their product and attempts to realize profit? This is something very important to consider because you don't technically make any money unless you sell. And if the market is saturated with product, then as we've covered in supply and demand, the prices for the set that you're trying to sell are likely going to be a lot lower than they should be due to the extra supply and the lower demand for the product. The fifth and final key variable to consider when investing in Pokemon is your time horizon. Now, this is the most important variable in my opinion. As an investor, you need to be able to identify how long can you have your money tied up in a Pokemon product before you're going to need to access it again. Many people consider putting their money into a Pokemon product for 3 to 5 years to be a long-term investment strategy. However, this is actually considered to be what's called a short-term time horizon. Short-term market fluctuations can be unpredictable, which can lead to increased volatility in the value of Pokemon TCG products. Now, the volatility can be beneficial in the short term if you're looking to open up a new set and quickly offload some singles at an inflated price, or buy the new TCG product when it's scarce and offload onto the secondary market at an inflated price. But be aware that when the next set gets hyped up and released, or pre-orders for the next set is announced, generally buyers' money is shifted out of the secondary market and into the new TCG product or set. Generally, you're looking for 5 years minimum to hold onto your product before selling. Around this time period, products become more scarce and other people with cold feet have sold their products already. Sets have also likely been out of print for around 3 years by now, and the majority of products have already been opened. So you're likely to see some better returns on your products when you hold out for at least 5 years. In conclusion, these are the 5 key variables I consider when looking for a Pokemon set or product to invest in. A lot of these same principles can be applied to other collectibles or real-world commodities. Thanks for watching everyone, and let me know what variables you take into consideration before buying a Pokemon product or set.